Hello, hi, how are you all? My name is Nikki and I'm a radio presenter. What a career to have, right? Being paid to speak. But what exactly is a great career? Is it a career that pays you well? Is it a career that gives you professional growth? Or is it a career that gives you personal growth? Or all of the above? What exactly is it? Can I hear some answers? All of the above? Yes, you're absolutely right. It's all of the above. But how to make sure that you achieve what you want? I don't know if all of you all will believe me when I say that I got exactly what I set out to achieve. And there are certain things that I experienced in my life which sort of helped me, and that's exactly what I bring to this stage today, something that might just help you as well. But let's go back a little. I am actually a girl who was born in the 90s in a small town called Nagpur in India. Now, a girl who was born in the 90s in small town, the career prospects were pretty simple. Either you were a doctor or an engineer. Let's face it, not just because these careers were promising, but also they demanded some respect. And as a woman of 90s, there were certain limitations and certain story differences that I faced growing up. It was not just about making a career, making a living. It was also about marriage prospects. Is she going to study this? Will anybody marry her? I know, kind of unbelievable in today's age, but that used to happen back in the day, where girls' education was also looked at probable marriage prospect. Now, fast forward to how peer pressure sort of got me into doing something that I didn't want to do. Earlier on, I had already sort of discovered and understood that I want to make my career in media. I love speaking. I love being in the public eye. And this is something that I want to do. But peer pressure took in and everybody was like, oh, what career will she make of speaking in the public? Have you ever seen anybody making a lot of money out of it? She can be a doctor, she can be an engineer. Peer pressure took on. My mother's a doctor, so naturally everybody expected for me to be a doctor. My father studied BSc Dairy Science, so everybody expected probably I'll follow that path. My brother's an engineer, obviously, a typical brown family, right? And people expected that probably I will follow that path, and giving into the peer pressure, I did choose a career which I didn't want to do. I started doing Bachelor of Science in Biotechnology. Can you believe that? And obviously, I terribly failed at it because this is something that I didn't want to do, right? My world came crumbling down because my friends started looking at me with pity. My relatives started giving me career advice. Everybody was like, oh, just do a quick course and, just start getting into a job. And then probably that's where you can, progress your career ahead. That is when I decided I'm going to launch Project U, which is focus only on myself and believe in myself. Now, there are certain keys that I stand true to because I still follow it and they sort of help me progress ahead and move ahead in my life. The first one obviously being honest to yourself. Unless and until you're honest to yourself about what you want to do and what you're sure about, you cannot make other people, your parents, your family, your relatives believe that this is what you want to do in your life. When I failed BSc, I somehow had the courage to go and walk up to my dad and say, this is not what I want to do. I want to do media. And my dad was like, are you sure you'll be able to do it? And I was like, yes, although I wasn't sure I will be able to do it. But I showed that confidence in myself. I blurred out all the other noises that were coming around me saying, arey, but this, that. I will do what I really want to do. And probably that's what took me one step ahead. The second point to sort of making sure that you get what you want, you achieve your goal, is hear everybody out, but listen only to you. There are going to be 10,000 advices around you who are going to tell you, oh, you should do this. Oh, but you're good at that. Oh, but I don't think you will be good at this because you don't excel in XYZ skill. I heard everybody out because it's always good for you. Good feedback is also good feedback. Bad feedback is also good feedback because you're not going to work in isolation. You're going to be in a society who's going to make sure that they pull out your flaws. There are going to be some who will appreciate you, but there are going to be some people who are going to come out with your flaws. Embrace it, accept it, because you have to work with those people, right? And that's how you develop and fine-tune your skills, saying, okay, that person probably thinks I'm not good at this skill. I'm going to go learn it and come back. and probably tell that person that, you know what, I fine-tuned my skills. That will take you one step ahead. The third one being, failure and quitting is good. All our lives we've been told, oh my God, if you fail, it's going to be bad for you. Oh my God, are you a quitter? It's good and all for the best. I failed BSc. Had I not failed BSc, I would probably never choose media. I would probably keep on doing something that my family put me into, that the peer pressure put me into, and probably be, a scientist, not a scientist, but a researcher somewhere in a laboratory, doing something that earns me a good amount of money, but I'm not passionate about, right? My first job, I worked in a news channel as a political reporter. I worked there for 1.5 years, and I slogged and gathered all the knowledge that I wanted to. But it was a toxic place. It was something that you cannot sustain. It was mentally affecting me. And despite not having another job in my hand, despite not knowing what I'm going to do next, I decided to quit that job because I was very confident about myself. You know what? If I have the skill, if I have the ability, I will definitely find the job. And I did. Within 8 days of quitting my first job, I did actually end up another great, well-paying job as well. So quitting does not mean that you're actually going to, go down the dumps. Something or the other will come up for you. The next one in this part is be bold and take that risk, even if you don't want to. Yes. This is something that will require a lot of practice, because I remember as a child when I'd finished my post-graduation, my education, and when I was studying outside the town, my mom had given me a timeline, a deadline. She said, Beta, we come from a modest family. We don't really have the sources, the incomes to support you in a different town altogether. So you have two choices, get a job or come back. And I didn't want to go back. I obviously wanted to sort of find a job in my career, right? And do something, make something out of, something that I was very, very passionate about. So I went all out. I called up all the call centers of my favorite news channels, my favorite radio stations, asking for a job. I walked in with my resume to every news channel that I wanted to work with, dropped my resume at the receptionist, saying, you know what, I need a job. The receptionist was probably not even in the authority of hiring me, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. I met my friends in bus stops, looking at where they were working, asking them for jobs. And none of these are actually ideal interview, ideal job asking situations. You know what's the best part? I got jobs in each of these trials. So I finally understood the power of just going there and asking it, even if you don't want to, even if it is a not ideal situation, because what else will happen? They will just turn you around saying, oh, sorry, we can't help you. That's okay. But at least in my case, it has worked 100%, okay? So probably this is something that I will stand to all my life. I will start taking those risks. I will start doing things that I think will give me better opportunities. And last but not the least, believe in Project You. Had I heard my relatives, had I heard my friends, had I heard the society, had I heard everybody saying, oh, but you need a stable job, or you need a stable career, so don't pick this, pick that, I would probably be somewhere else. I would probably be in my hometown. I would probably not be doing radio. In radio they say that smile, because smile is the only thing that can be seen on radio. If you're going to pull yourself down, you cannot project yourself to others. You cannot convince yourself to give that person a job. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to be absolutely self-obsessed about yourself. Only then you will be able to convince others to give you a job, to give you an admission in a college, to make your career progress ahead. Like very famously in a Bollywood film, Three Idiots, Baba Ranchhod Das says, कि success के पीछे मत भागो, intelligence के पीछे भागो. Success will come behind you. Like they say, don't run behind success. Run behind intelligence. Success will automatically come back. So if you believe in Project You, nothing can stop you. Thank you.